There is a political context to this decision about the chaplaincy. We are told by the minister that it's to save money, but we're only talking about $1.3 million, which is equivalent to something like 4 cents per Canadian per year. So it really isn't the money. So then what else would it be? I think that what the minister and the government is trying to do is to send a message to a certain group of their supporters, religiously based conservatives. And essentially, they haven't done the job that these people would like to see in bringing forward legislation on abortion, for example. They didn't really carry the issue on same-sex marriage. I think religiously conservative people think the government either gave up too easily on those things or isn't really committed to them. So the conservative government would look out there and say, well, how are we going to keep these people on side? We need them as part of our governing coalition, because they have been quite supportive over the years. So they would say to themselves, well, what can we give them that isn't going to cost us a lot? And this would be one of those things. It's a group of people we're talking about here who are in prison, who are being ministered to. And remember, the conservatives are tough on crime and hard on prisoners. So prisoners aren't exactly one of their favorite groups, and they would surmise prisoners aren't really one of the favorite groups of the people that they're talking to here, which are a religiously based conservative community.
I would say I minister to everyone I come in contact with. Religious, that's the outward trappings or the practice of internal beliefs or the spirituality. And I can't minister to a Muslim, I can't minister to an Aboriginal if I have to express it in the forms of their religious practices, because I'm not an expert in that. But if you see ministry as relating to them, one person to another person, befriending them, listening to their needs and seeing how I can help, I consider that ministry too.
I could probably tell you through illustration. You know, one of the more interesting things I did was to moderate a rather impromptu debate between two religious groups on campus. There was a Muslim group up in the unit center. I forget what they were doing. I think they were handing out leaflets and advertising some activity they had. And a group of rather right-wing Christians had confronted them, and it was getting pretty ugly. So the first thing security did was to call the chaplain. Who else are you going to call? You know, these are the religious, how shall I say it, religious consultants on campus. Let's call them. So I went over and mediated what could have been, I guess, a fairly energetic exchange. And that happens more often than you think. Yeah.
Be more transparent, because therapists and psychiatrists and all those people, they have certain ethical guidelines where, depending on their modality, they're not going to be as transparent about who they are as a person and what path they've taken. But as a chaplain, they're afforded that ability to say, yeah, I've been there and I've done that and this is what I did. You don't have to do what I did. But it's a lot more of a partnership instead of a client-consumer or a client-therapist relationship.
Because I love it. I have a heart for people. I want to be there for them. I stick up for the underdog, and this is not popular amongst people who would rather not even give the time of day to an inmate. I happen to think that change can happen. I am in no way condoning what they've done, what they're charged with, or what they're sentenced with, but I treat them as people and help them to get through their time, because if they I don't think prisons should be a place where they get more angry and go back as better criminals. I think having spiritual and religious care can help reverse some of that, and that they actually come away from prison less pro-criminal and more pro-social. That's a bit of a negative way of saying it. Anyways, I think change can happen through a relationship with God, and I'm here to walk with people who and help them get closer to their God.